we're back again with Learning to Grow. And I'll answer the question asked in the last video, what was in the pot? Indeed, it was potatoes. Specifically, it was these potatoes. This is the President Choice brand. This is the exact bag they came from, and you can see it's not like the potatoes are particularly going bad. They're not even organic. I just let them sit in a little bit of soap and water, and you can see here how much they've grown since the last video. Take a little look in there, and you can look over here. Now this leaf that I talked about wasn't doing so well, has died off, but this one has popped up as well. So like this one's much bigger. You can see here, right down here on the sides, these are roots waiting to grow the tubers of the potatoes. And if you come down here, you also have the option of buying seed potatoes. You put these in the ground. You don't have to sprout them with starter mix. You just have to dig a hole, put them in, and watch them grow. These are made to be put in the ground. They are not so great for eating, but they do great when you just plant them in the ground. Now, if you come over here, you can also see here, I harvested some of the green onions. I harvested this one, and then I realized we had a few green onions in the fridge. So I thought, you know what, we might as well cut those and replant them. And you can see how well they're doing. I did that yesterday. And you can see they're already starting to come back. It won't be long before they are full green onions that I could cut again and put in the freezer. Hypothetically, you should be able to grow these forever. Now, if you look here, you look over here, this is going to be my next question. This is another vegetable that I just put the seeds into wet paper towel. And you can see how many of them have germinated. That is incredible. I was not expecting them to do that well. You can see here, I'll bring it to you. I planted what I felt were the best crops in here. And you can see there's not a big difference, but you can see it's been one day of growth. You can see, stop shaking the camera. You can see how well they are doing. Now, when it comes to fertilizing these guys, actually any plant, the best time to fertilize them when you first start is when they are done their baby leaves. So when they grow their first mature leaves, then you can fertilize them. Now this is an experiment I did. At some point over here, I took just a mound of paper towel because I was ripping some of them. I didn't want to rip them all. I put a mound of paper towel down there, and you can see, I didn't think, these weren't even up yesterday. These were completely covered by dirt, and they have pushed right through. Again, I am using seed starting soil. I am not just taking a shovel full of dirt in the backyard and putting them in. We're using seed starting soil. And one of the advantages of it is it has fertilizer in it. It also has these white things. This is called perlite. And what it does is it opens up the soil and gives the plants room to get their little roots through. Now the next thing I'm going to talk about, I'm not going to ask you about, keep it right there, cameraman. I'm not going to ask you about it, I'm just going to show it. One of the big things I've found since this pandemic has started is we have a significant lack of yeast in stores. So in the old days, they used to make their own yeast for sourdough. And this is called a sourdough starter. So all I've done is I put 1 cup of flour and 1 cup of water in yesterday. I covered it with a tea towel, and now I'm ready for day 2. And what do? Well, they say, and I've never done this before, you scoop out half of it, and then you add in another cup of flour and a half cup of water. And I can tell a difference in this only 24 hours. It's a lot gooier. And what you're trying to create is a mother, a sourdough mother, which is the starter of, you want to do pancakes, you want to do bread, you want to do biscuits. You can do sourdough anything with the sourdough starter, and you won't need yeast. So half cup water, 1 cup of flour, and then we mix. Try not to leave anything dry. Whoop. And mix, 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 mix. And then we push it down to the bottom of the jar. We don't want to leave anything, we don't want to leave it building up on the sides as much as we can. Make sure there's no dry spots. Dry spots, if you're going to get them, will always be in the corners. And it feels different than it did yesterday. So whatever it's doing it. And then we cover it up with a tea towel, and then we just let it sit for 24 hours before we deal with it again. Also wanted to show how do I water plants. I just have a water bottle. Brio is not a sponsor of this video, but if Brio would like to reach out, I'd love to work with you. And I have poked 5 holes in the top, and then I just turn it over, being very careful of the lights. We don't need anyone to be electrocuted, especially in a pandemic. And then I make sure, especially with these little ones, with the little seedlings, I try and be very, very gentle. They're already pretty wet. I watered them earlier today, just a little squirt. Just a little squirt. And if it gets on the table, that's fine. I'm not worried about that. And that's it. So that's all. That's all for today. What I'd like you to do is you tell me, where did I get these seedlings from? I'd like you to put that in the discussion post about, I'll put up a new discussion post about that. And tomorrow I will take you on a tour of my garden as it is right now outside, and we will look at the perennial plants opposed to the annual plants. Perennial plants are ones that come back year after year, and I have a few of them in my backyard. Okay? Please like and subscribe. It really helps the channel, and I will talk to you soon. I hope you're all well. I'll see you next time.